Hey, welcome back. Today we will answer the question, which Old Forester is right for you, me, all of us, right after this. All right, as I did with Elijah Craig, I have already poured these into the glasses. This is only the lineup I have. I do not have an Old Forester birthday bourbon, which is some batches releases are fairly exceptional. But what I do have, and the only reason I didn't line these up in proof order is because these are the year dated versions, and this is the Statesman. The Statesman actually comes in at 95 proof. And I know I've reviewed most of these before. I have not done a video on the 1920 just yet, but this will cover that. But I figured I would just line them all up, and one of the best ways to figure out which bourbon you truly like better is to try them back to back, side by side, like I used to do, and I may get into doing some more of those, the Bourbon Brawl series, or the Barroom Brawl, where we pit bourbons against each other and just go to town. But for this episode, I'm gonna do the 4 Old Foresters here. The Statesman, this was a release in conjunction with the movie, the Kingsman movie, and this was the Statesman bourbon that was their front, was a distillery. And then this is Old Forester 1870 original batch. This comes in at 90 proof. Then the Old Forester 1897 bottled and bond, which we should all know by now, is 100 proof. And then I have the Old Forester 1920 Prohibition style at 115 proof. All of them are really good bourbons, but there is going to be some that edge out the others just a little bit. But if you're wanting to look for a price range, or some of them on the shelf may be a little more expensive than the others, I have lined them up sort of in an order that I think is going to speak to me more, from bottom to top, okay? And I may change order, but we'll see. But let's go ahead and get a little air in these. I know they've been sitting out here just a little bit, opening up, but they have not been swirled. So let's do that. And it's always better to pour your bourbon just a little bit ahead of time. Let some air get in it, opens it up. So let's start down here on this end. And as far as nose goes, it noses like a 95 proof. I mean, it really does. It noses is what I would expect. I think I would guess this to be around 95. It's some of those, Old Forester's very familiar, and you get similar notes across the lineup. Caramel. I mean, my mouth is already watering just from nosing this thing. And I love Old Forester as a bourbon. Not too sweet. This one's not that complex. Gives a little singe, a little brightness to it. But other than that, it's a creamy, good bourbon from Old Forester. Now, the 1870, this was supposed to be original batch. So, similar nose, less punch, lower proof. Yeah, we're getting into some better oaky notes in here. Getting some more like fruit note to it. So a tiny bit sweeter than the Statesman, but they're not sweet bourbons. So, go with that. Now the bottled and bond. And again, we're going up in proof, but I can tell you this one is the punchiest on the nose. and more of an ethanol kick. This one has a darker nose to it than this one. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're blooming now. We're really coming through. I can tell you, this is the first one that excites me out of these. I mean, they're all good bourbons, but this one is the first one so far that's really stood up and took notice. It's got a little more general sweetness to it, but more caramels, more fruits, more dried fruit, more nuttiness to it. Oh yeah, so good. I'm gonna go back and take another little sip on it. And now, save the best for last, but of course, if y'all watch my videos, you know I like a little higher proof. I like the bottled in bonds. Now this is not, I like the bottled in bonds, but I like the barrel proofs and cask strengths. I wouldn't consider this cask strength. I mean, it's only 115. If it were cask strength, they barreled it really low. Yeah, excellent nose for 115. Good soft nose, deep oak notes coming out in there. This is really going to be, to me, the best one. Oh, absolutely. Bam. I mean, if I now go back over here, this is going to have hardly any flavor to it. So let me just do that right quick. Yeah, it's dramatically weakened after, you know, coming all the way over here. These two are pretty similar, but this one is, I think, a little less. It has that less of that bright note that I call a bright note. It's like a young bourbon note. Still a good bourbon though, still good. But here's my side. I lean more over here to the right. Both of these are great. The bottled in bond, the 1897, stands up well until you've had this one, you know. So now I'm gonna hit these side by side because I did not. I mean, I chased this one with that one, but I'm gonna go and then come back. So let's do that. Oh, wow. Good molasses caramel, deep notes, good roasted fruit notes in here, oak. You're getting some nuttiness out of there, a little hint of some conical pine coming through. Very complex compared to these. Well balanced, but far more complex bourbon. Now let me come back to the bottled in bond. Still good, not as banging on all cylinders, so to speak. But I think if you're faced with, I can't find the Old Forester 1920, and you can find the 1897 bottled in bond, I think you'll be happy with this. You would be happier with this. But, you know, don't pass on Old Forester just because you can't find that one. These are good to have on the shelf, but not as tasty, not as full noted. And this is the one that has the most notes. So there you have it. There's the Old Forester lineup back to back to back. Once you get through the lineup and come back, this one's far more watery than it was before. Even though it's a 95 proof, this one still holds up pretty good. So if you want the original batch, grab you one. Give it a shot. It's not as sweet, but hey, still a good bourbon. But these, these aren't super sweet, don't get me wrong, but these are better bourbons. over here, and the 1920 is the best. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, please like and subscribe, hit the bell down there for notifications, and I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.